Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to learn how to knit, finger knit. So today I'm going to bring you along as I attempt my first project with finger knitting. I think that's what you call it. I used 5 balls of this Bernat Blanket Big, and this color is vintage. So let's get started. Smaller balls of yarn, you pull the yarn from the inside, but on these big balls, you find where it starts on the outside, and that's where you pull the yarn from. There we go. So you just take this yarn and make a slip knot. Okay, so that's going to be our first chain. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and then all you do is so this counts as 1, so you go 2, and then I just kind of put 2 fingers in to measure. Grab another one. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see how it goes. Nice and easy. And then you want to get it to 30. This project should take you about 2 hours, and the blanket will end up being about 4 feet by 5 feet. Perfect for lounging with. Okay, that should be 30. So now all you do is you pull one more, and that's 1. Then you're going to pull 1 through every one of the top loops on this chain. So you can see the top loop. So you want to make sure it's not twisted. It's laying pretty flat. And having good light, I think, really helps, so you can see it. You can see your next loop. So then you're just going to go to this top loop right here, and you're going to pull it through. Oh, and have your yarn going this way. And you know what? I would pull more off this so you don't have to do that through the loop. Or through the one row. Okay, so there's our 1. So now we're gonna pull it through the next one. Then here's my next one. I'm gonna pull it through. Just kind of measure it with my 2 fingers. Then I'm gonna look for the next one. I think I'm starting to get a little bit smaller, so I'm going to fix that as I go. This is a very forgiving blanket, but it's going to look great when we're done. Okay, now that we're getting to the end, you just want to make sure you go through that slip knot right there. And if we did it right, we'll have 30. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30, 31. I wondered if I miscounted when I did the first one. 30, 31. Okay. So we're good. So I started with 31. It does not matter. I'm going to flip it over and go back the same way. So I'm doing the exact same motion. The first row is harder to do because it's a little more difficult seeing that top stitch. But now you're pulling it through that loop you just made, so it's a lot easier to see. I'm just going to keep pulling it through. Whoops. Make sure we got our 2 fingers. I think you kind of start pulling them through all the same. You don't really have to measure. And you want to double check that when you're pulling this next one up, it's not twisted. And I think that'll help keep this flat as we go. If you're liking it so far, I'd love if you'd subscribe, like, and ring that bell. Okay, we made it to the last one. So now let's double check and make sure we have 31. 1, 2, 3, 4. 9, 30, 31, yay! Okay. Continue making rows of 31 loops or stitches until you're almost done with that 5th ball of yarn. Okay, so this has taken about 5 minutes. And my one tip would be that when you're starting on your next row, I've already done the one and I turned it, is make sure all those loops are up so that you don't miss one. There's not one tucked under. Make sure they're all up so that you don't miss one as you go by. I'm starting on my last ball of yarn, so I want to show you how I tie one ball of yarn to the other. This is all I did. I don't know what kind of knot this is. I just take it like this. I wrap it around, I pull it through, I pull it tight, then I do one more. Pull it tight and do one more. That's all you do. So let me just trim these ends real fast. And we'll start up again. I'm gonna make sure they're not listed. I've already double checked. I still have 31. Now that my blanket has gotten so big, you can see here. Ooh. I'm going to show you how I turn it to make it a little easier. So this last stitch, this is 31, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because you can see they kind of get big, so I think it helps to make this one a little bit smaller, not so loopy. I start the first loop of the next row here before I make the turn, and I make it kind of big so that when I turn it, if any yarn gets pulled, it's not going to pull it out. Not that it would be that big of a deal to fix, but so far it's worked. I've got my big loop, and now I'm going to flip it. I've also rolled up the blankets so it's easier to work on. You can see how much yarn I have left. I think this is going to be my last row. When you are on the last row, you want to make your stitch a little bit bigger. It needs to be bigger to finish off the blanket. Let's see what happens. I made 4 stitches. You can see that they're a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to continue like this. I've finished off the last row. You can see the stitches are a little bit bigger. Hopefully they're big enough. We'll find out in a minute. This is the only row you don't flip over. So I'm going to start down at this end and I'm going to join those stitches together to finish off our blanket. So you take this, let's see, which one? This stitch. Yeah, that's right. You take the second stitch, you pull it through the first stitch, put it over, take the next stitch, pull it through, take the next stitch, pull it through, take the next stitch, pull it through, and you can see what happens. I'm gonna just continue taking that stitch, pulling it through, next one, pull it through, Oh boy, what happened here? Okay, I got a little problem. I'm gonna pull that back out and pull it through. That's why you needed it bigger, so you have room to work. Coming up to the end, I'm just gonna continue, and we're done. Now we just need to tie it off. I've cut the yarn. I've left a tail of a little over a foot. This was the last stitch that we pulled through. It's still attached to the yarn, so I can actually make it a little bit smaller because this is what we're gonna do to tie it off. I'm gonna run that through there. And I'm gonna pull it really tight. Then I'm gonna take this yarn and I'm gonna feed it back through here to just hide this tail. And really, I could stop at any time, but I got this much. I might as well just go as long as I have the tail. I know some people like to make a stitch on that corner instead of tying a knot just to make sure it's secure, but I think it'll be fine. And we're done. We have a great comfy blanket. It's so soft. I love this yarn. I can't wait to make another one. If you liked today's video, I hope you'll subscribe. Ring that bell, you'll always know when I've uploaded a new video. And remember, we're never too old to try something new. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.